It is the Coral-Eclipse at Sandown on Saturday, the first clash of the generations, the 3-year-olds taking on the older horses, but really it's all about one 3-year-old this weekend. I am joined by Matt Brocklebank from Sporting Life and Andy McLaren from Timeform to discuss the Coral-Eclipse at Sandown. We're going to have a look at the Old Newton Cup at Haydock as well, the best betting race on Saturday afternoon, and we'll get the best bets from the guys as well. Gentlemen, the Coral-Eclipse, and it is the City of Troy show, Matt. Fantastic Derby winner, and with White Birch not running from news that broke earlier in the week, it does look a bit of a penalty kick for him.
Yeah, it does. Obviously, the betting market reflects that. We're missing a few older horses here, aren't we? The likes of Passenger. I would love to have seen him in a Coral-Eclipse. And as you say, White Birch, he's been on a roll as well. But less of the horses that aren't here. City of Troy stands out a mile. I'm sure Andy's going to hammer down in terms of how far clear he is on the Timeform figures and what he's achieved to this point. Obviously, we have that complete blowout in the 2000 Guineas that he produced first time back, and we don't have to go back too far, and we saw that with August Rodin last year. It won the Derby, and then when he tackled older horses for the first time, he was beaten in the King George and beaten handsomely. Now City of Troy has to try and sort of avoid repeating and following in his footsteps again, but yeah, he stands out a mile. He's got the best form, and in terms of that Derby, it was really quite striking, wasn't it? And others can't quite match him on form yet. There are horses in here with potential, though, aren't there?
There are indeed, but let's have a look at the Timeform ratings, and we will try and assess City of Troy's task in hand, Andy.
Yeah, like you say, City of Troy, £8 clear, you can see there, with the P still attached to his rating. As you mentioned, it's a real shame White Birch hasn't turned up here. He is the joint highest rated older horse in training at the moment, level with Kyprios, and he would have came out just £1 shy of City of Troy on our weight adjusted ratings had he been here, so we would have had a proper race on our hands. But without him here, it does look like it's very much City of Troy's race to lose. And if he's the horse that Aidan O'Brien and the lads think he is, he should be winning this and winning it comfortably. Do think it's interesting though. You mentioned the first class of the generations. It's actually the two older horses in the lineup, Stay Alert and Al Riffa, who come out second and third best behind City of Troy in our ratings, with the rest of the 3-year-olds a bit below them with a bit more to prove, I think.
Oh, the P's in the race, slightly surprised by that, given the fact that obviously Timeform have clearly sort of seen enough maybe from the likes of Dancing Gemini, Ghostwriter, JRB to suggest that they've not going to achieve a huge amount more. I thought there might be another P or two lurking, to be honest.
If you were going to attach a P to that list, Matt, where would you put it? Because I'd stick it on See the Fire.
Yeah, I think See the Fire would have to be on that list. Purely on
trip angle,
it's the pedigree. Yeah, it's the pedigree angle. Obviously, she's out of the brilliant mare Arabian Queen, who won the Juddmonte International that day. Was it Golden
Horn? Derby winner.
It was, yeah. And she's by See the Star, so she's absolutely been crying out for a step up to middle distances. I was thinking that towards the back end of last year and put her up for the Oaks. Now we've seen her in the 1000 Guineas where she was well held at 15-2. She was quietly fancied that day, and then she went to the Coronation Stakes and showed a lot more at Ascot round the bend. It was going to be sharp enough for her, I suspect that, but she does still just have that little bit of a kink to her, I think. I thought the last day, whilst showing a bit more of her sort of natural ability and her form at Royal Ascot, she did just hang a little bit as well. So I'm just worried about her maybe mentally more than anything.
She's interesting, but I do think the step up in trip angle, I think she's going to want even further than this. I still don't think this is far enough for her. And even when she does get that sort of the middle distances that I think the pedigree suggests she does want, I still don't think she's probably just not up to City of Troy's level.
Well, let's try and eke out a betting angle or two. Let's have a look at the pace map first of all, because how this is going to be run is going to be key. We've seen before in Coral-Eclipses they can get a bit tactical, but the key horse is Hans Andersen, Matt, because he looks like the obvious pacemaker.
Yeah, a good even gallop, as Aidan likes to say, and that's what he was stressing again in midweek when talking about the Coral-Eclipse and the way that it was going to shape out. He wants the best horse to win the race, obviously, and that's how he's going to try and do it, by stretching the field out and then class will out with his Derby winner dropping back in trip. So Hans Andersen under Wayne Lorden from stall 3, certainly going to go forward. The Timeform predicted map there has obviously City of Troy not far behind. I think that's very fair. Despite the fact he was held up in the Derby over a mile and a half, it's certainly not hard to see Ryan Moore sitting as handy as he likes on this, because he knows that he can quicken, he knows he will stay. Ghostwriter from stall 1. We've seen over the years, many Coral-Eclipse. It can get tricky, can't it, if you are stuck down on that inside? Do you see that as a potential negative? I thought he's going to get, a nice toe, though, isn't he? If he's away from the stalls, because he was really unlucky, I thought, with how it panned out at the start at Newmarket when he ended up being fourth in the Guineas, because he fell out of the stalls and then stumbled and nearly sort of clipped heels, didn't he?
Like you, I like Ghostwriter as a horse, and I love his trainer, Clive Cox, but I just worry that stall 1, that inside stall, he could get trapped, couldn't he, in behind it. I don't think it's going to play out particularly nicely for him, would be how I assess his chance.
He is the one horse that's beaten the favourite already, though, isn't he? Like, I know I say that quite firmly, tongue-in-cheek, but he did have City and Troy back in 9th when he was 4th, and it was a good 4th, and he finished in behind, obviously, Rosalian, Hartsem, Inisherin was behind. It's
Guineas form's red hot.
Yeah, really good Guineas. It's just a shame he didn't quite kick on when asked to go to France. It was heavy going that day. Clive Cox has kind of pinned his hopes on getting back on a sounder surface being a real positive for Ghostwriter, and I still carry a little bit of a torch for this horse. I think a creditable second might be the best he can achieve.
We have got one video clue, and it is the key one. It is City of Troy winning the Derby. We've got Dancing Gemini in the orange cap as well, who runs in the Eclipse on Saturday. This form was given a boost, Andy, in the Irish Derby.
Yeah, a significant boost. The second and the third here, Los Angeles and Ambiente Friendly, they fought out the finish sort of between them anyway at the Curragh in the Irish equivalent. You've got Dancing Gemini there just making his move down the outside. He was stone last as they turned in. He made a big move into contention.
Didn't stay, did he? I don't think.
Yeah, his effort, it is that big move he made probably just took its toll a bit late on, and his effort does peter out here, and horses he's already got past that to pass him later on. I think this drop back to 10 furlongs is going to suit him, but even so, I mean, he's got, 7 lengths to make up with City of Troy there. It's a big ask.
Yeah, it is a big ask. Let's sum it all up, gents, because I think we're all with City of Troy to fill the one slot, but are we looking at any exotic bets? Is there a betting angle in the Coral-Eclipse, Matt?
No, I mean, I'm going to avoid it personally. I wouldn't put anyone off Ghostwriter, but when you look at it, you can bet without, I think he's 15-8 betting without the favourite. It's just not enough to entice me in. And when you look at, you can finish in the top 2, he's only about 9-4, so I don't personally think he'll beat City of Troy. Again, each way, you're kind of wasting a win bet for me. So, yeah, I think we'll happily watch City of Troy get home in this. Is this the race where it's Paddington last year, wasn't it? Where was it Aidan O'Brien rocked up with the great big giant bear on the... and then I was half thinking he might turn up with, a Trojan horse or something for this one. But maybe that was at Goodwood. Maybe that was at Goodwood in the rain. But, you never know. It'd be nice to see, the day being brightened up a little bit rather than just a procession for City of Troy.
I'd love to see it. I'm just going to quickly mention JRB because I think he's an improving horse for Brian Ellison. Obviously, a good win at Newmarket. And then at... Brian Ellison, you knew I meant Brian me, and don't look at me like that.
Thought we'd moved on to Tash Khan.
No, we'll get my Brian's mixed up. But I think he's worth a mention. It was a good victory at Royal Ascot not too long ago, obviously. But on a line through first look, the French Derby runner-up, I thought he might have the edge over Ghostwriter, and he does come into calculations for me in the forecast market. But you're going to go one better than the forecast market, aren't you, Andy?
Yes, combination TriCast is the way I'm going to play this. I'm going to play the older horses. I agree with Matt and Ghostwriter. I think of the 3-year-old City of Troy aside, of the other 3-year-old in the lineup, I think he's probably the best of those. I expect him to finish best of the 3-year-old City of Troy aside. But as the Timeform rating suggests,
you've got your Timeform cap on here.
Yeah,
it's a ratings play. I think Al Riffa and Stay Alert are being underestimated in the betting. If you look at Al Riffa's form, I'm willing to put a line through his last run in America where I just don't think the tight bends around there and the firm ground suited him at all. His 2 runs prior to that came in France where he was a narrow second to Ace Impact, who went on to win the Arc. That was a really good run. And he was 4th, and he's come back this season. He had a long break. He was entitled to need that run. He was a close 4th. And just behind him in 5th there was Horizon Door, who came on from that run and came a really good 3rd to Auguste Rodin at Royal Ascot. So I think on those 2 runs in France, Al Riffa is perfectly entitled to finish 2nd to City of Troy. And then Stay Alert. It's interesting she's coming here just a week, 7 days, is it, after running the Pretty Polly Stakes last time. On On her form, she's a bit in and out, but I think it's a ground thing with her. If you look, she's had 3 goals now on ground that had soft in the description, and each time she's just completely underperformed. When she's on a sounder surface, a form where she was an unlucky second to Via Sistina in last year's Pretty Solly Stakes, and a form at Newmarket this season where she hammered Running Lion.
Up that, didn't
yeah, she absolutely hammered Running Lion, who was disappointed at Epsom next time, but then she came out. She came out and won at Royal Ascot. I think if she can run to that level, and she'll be ridden patiently, and she'll come with a late turn of foot. So I just think she has the ability, and she might be ridden to finishing the places, if you know what I mean. Ridden cold and coming home late down the outside with that turn of foot, she's got to get third. So hopefully, City of Troy first, I'll riff a second, stay alert, coming home strongly down the outside to take third, and that'll land the combination tricast.
I like it. I don't think we've had a combo tricast on the
Timeform ratings tricast, we'll call it.
Saturday video before. But listen, it's all about City of Troy, we think. Really looking forward to seeing him at Sandown on Saturday. Good luck if you're having a combo trifecta like Andy McLaren. Right, let's talk about the big betting race of the day, because that is over at Haydock. For my money, the Bet365 Old Newton Cup handicap at 3.15, a prestigious handicap over 1.5 miles, and we have got a few video clues to look at, Matt, and this is a race with your value bet cap on you'll be looking at closely, and here is Relentless Voyager, who won at Epsom last time in style.
Yeah, we spoke to Oisin Murphy this morning, didn't we, Scoop? We were at Epsom this day, and we spoke to him before racing. I remember him saying he thinks this horse and hopes this horse is better than a handicapper. And the way he won here suggests Oisin was right. He absolutely bolted up. I mean, they campaigned him like a good horse last year. They ran him in the it was a Group 2 at Royal Ascot. I can't remember the name of the race, but that was the race that King of Steel won and Continuous was second. And he came last there, but they've obviously always rated him highly. You could tell by the way Oisin spoke about on the morning as well, that race, that they rated him highly. And he won really impressively here. He went to York next time, where I thought he was actually a good third to...
It was a muddling gallop that day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
one like made all.
It was a Ryan Moore special from the front, wasn't it? Where he just went a steady gallop and quickened, and Relentless Voyager and Oisin Murphy, they were making up ground the whole way down the straight, but I think they were just undone by perfect ride from Ryan Moore from the front. Really, he's £7 higher from that run at Epsom, and for me, he's a worthy favourite. I think he could just be better than this lot.
Yeah, he's another improving son of Ulysses as he's getting older, like Passenger and White Birch, isn't he? And
it looks quite a statement of intent, doesn't it, to the Baldings to run a horse in a handicap of 108. It's kind of like, let's go and put another handicap to bed and show our class. You know, you could easily have found a listed or another group race for him, but this is the horse to beat, I suspect. He's well found in the betting.
He is well found in the betting. I think we should look at another video clue to try and see if there is a bet against him in the race, and this is Chillingham, finishing third at York behind Crystal Delight.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Chillingham. Now, whether I'm going to back him on Saturday is debatable. Again, he's single-figure price, so this hasn't been missed, because I think he was a bit unlucky this day. Not unlucky not to win, but he was a bit unlucky how the race panned out. As we saw, we just mentioned there with Klondike, and it happens a fair bit at York in those races, those handicaps and listed group races. He's come from the back when the winner's made all. And he's the only one really, well, I say the back, he was kind of mid-division early on, and then he's the only one he's on the far side there with the cheek piece. He's just finishing third there. It's another really solid horse from a solid run from a very solid, consistent horse, and I do think he can win races off this sort of mark. Personally, I think they're gearing towards a return to York for the Skybet Ebor, up to 1.6 miles. I think it's going to suit him, so this is 1.5 miles, isn't it? Perfectly within his compass trip-wise, but I think he's priced up about right. I like him. He's very solid. If you want an each-way bet, I think Chillingham will give you a hell of a run for your money.
Do you want my Old Newton Cup stat?
Yes,
I think it's going to be a killer, isn't it? Is it something to do with the Royal Meeting, Scoop?
It is something to do with the Royal Meeting, yeah. The Duke of Edinburgh handicap has found 7 winners of the Old Newton Cup this century and 8 runners-up. So it is a key form race. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the Royal Ascot.
That is incredible. How many of these ran at the Duke
then? Sheer Rocks for Eve Johnson-Houghton, who I like, and is probably going to be my selection in my tipping column on the website. He was 4th in the Haydock race last year, and it was a good reappearance at Royal Ascot, running on. An Epic Poet, who was 2nd at Royal Ascot, also turns up in the Old Newton Cup as well. So he's been well found in the market, but another one to watch. But enough of my waffle. What is your selections in the race, lads?
Well, I'm just going to repeat your waffle scoop. I've got sheer rocks on my notes here.
Lovely stuff.
The reasons are outlined there. He was sent off, I think, 6-1, 5-1 for this race last year. He was really well fancied. He's £2 lower in the weights than that, running it last year. He'd been off since. I hadn't seen him since until that race you just mentioned at Royal Ascot, where I thought it was a perfectly adequate comeback as well. And I just wonder, after getting sent off such a short price for this race last year, if they've had this race in mind for him since. And basically, it sounds a bit mad going to Royal Ascot for a prep run, but I wonder if they have sent him there to get a run into him, to come back here. And like I say, he's £2 lower in the weights. He was 6-1 last year. He's double the price this year. So yeah, him and Relentless Voyager were the two for me.
Okay, apologies for stealing your thunder. That's bad hosting from me.
Just double the points.
So I get the case.
Go on, Matt.
I very much get the case for him, but I am going to go even bigger. I think I've got one here about 20-1, if not now, for Rafe Beckett. I don't think Rafe's ever won this race, which is quite remarkable given the sort of a lot of his horses, kind of late maturing horses, handicappers around this distance as well. Now, if not now, he was absolutely hammered by Relentless Voyager at Epsom. He was out with the washing that day, finished 11th of the 14 runners, but hated the track. It was a kind of archetypal scratch run, just ignore the whole run. He fell down the hill there at Epsom. He was right next to the eventual winner coming down the hill, and he just visibly unbalanced, and then in the straight, when already beaten, he was lugging to his left and hated the place. Prior to that, he'd actually had a fairly encouraging comeback run. This was at Linfoot when he finished third to a Merrick, a horse that subsequently finished close second in a couple of good listed races. The runner-up that day as well, the Sir Mark Prescott horse, True Legend, he finished 4th or 5th in the Northumberland Plate last weekend, having been second at Goodwood. So I think that form's decent. He'd been gelded over the winter. It was a comeback run, and he took a massive backward step at Epsom last time, but that's why we're getting such a big price about him here. He's been given a bit of respite from the handicapper down to a mark of 99. This is a horse that they ran in the German Derby last year, having won on handicap debut at Sandown. So a lightly raced horse, one I think sitting on a fair bit of potential. And we haven't mentioned yet, there is rain around. I know you spoke a little bit about the ground at Sandown there for your two outsiders in the Coral-Eclipse, but I do think they might get a bit more rain here at Haydock as well, and that's going to suit this horse in the Old Newton Cup.
Okay, good luck with your Old Newton Cup selections. We're going to quickly finish the video with a best bet each. Andy, you first.
I'm going to go to France on Sunday for mine in the Group 1 Prix-Jean Prat, and I'm very interested in Iberian going over there for Charlie Hills. This horse, he's underperformed twice at Newmarket. He ran in the Dewhurst behind City of Troy last year and underperformed, and he ran in the Guineas this year where he came stone last. But I think you can completely forget. I don't think he's a Newmarket horse for a start, given his 2 runs there. But he's running the Guineas. He was drawn on the wing, completely right out wide. He had no cover. He raced freely. He just completely pulled his chance away. Happy to put a line through those 2 Newmarket runs, and if you can do that, he won the Champagne Stakes at Doncaster, where he beat, albeit below par, Rassali, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend it was a on-song Rassali and he beat, but he beat him nevertheless. And he also had some way in behind there who boosted that form with a good run in the Irish Derby. And the time before that, he came a really good fast finishing second at Goodwood behind Hartem. So that form, away from Newmarket, his form last year stacks up really well. And I'm very interested in him in the Prix-Jean Prat on Sunday with James Doyle booked.
A French tip for Andy. Where are you going, Matt?
I like that. I'm sticking at Haydock, 205, the Bet365 handicap. This is a cracking race, load of
Is that 1 mile 6 race?
Yeah, this is it for 3-year-olds. Yeah, it's kind of a mini Melrose, if I'm allowed to call it that.
Always works out.
But yeah, this will be a good race. And again, I've got 25-1 shot here for John and Thady Gosden. Another Newmarket Raider. They do really well in this race. Papano, a son of Nathaniel, who I think is going to, again, not going to hammer the point that it's going to rain, but I do expect a bit of juice in the ground at Haydock. He's going to absolutely love this ground. He's just not been up to it. The Gosdens have kind of been scratching around for a classic colt, haven't they? At the start of the season, he was thrown into the Chester Vars and races like that, and the Cocked Hat at Goodwood. He's not come up to scratch, but he now goes handicapping for the first time off a mark of 90. I think he could improve a fair bit for this sort of test.
Excellent. It's a really good race, that. I shall have a look at him. That's it. Time has beaten us. Hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy City of Troy in the Coral-Eclipse at Sandown on Saturday. And we'll be back next week to have a look at the July Festival.